3 words from a complete stranger completely destroyed my life, and then rebuilt it in a way I never thought possible. If you've ever felt invisible, ignored, or completely hopeless, this story will change your perspective forever. Stay until the end because I'm going to reveal exactly what this stranger told me and why these simple words have the power to transform any life. But first, let me show you who I used to be. My name is Sarah, and for 28 years, I lived like a ghost in my own life. 300 pounds. That's not just a number, it's an invisible prison that controlled every breath, every step, every moment of my day. Do you know what it's like to sit in a chair and pray it won't break? Or get on an elevator and see people discreetly glancing at the weight limit? I knew. I lived that every single day. People didn't see me. They literally looked away. I was invisible not from some superpower, but because my own body had become a barrier between me and the world. But the worst part wasn't how people treated me. The worst part was how I treated myself. I covered every mirror in my house. Every single one. Because each reflection was a painful reminder of who I had become. My own mother stopped inviting me to family events, not because she didn't love me, but because she knew I would always make up an excuse not to go. You know what the final straw was? My 6-year-old nephew drew me for school. It was a family drawing, and I was just a huge black shape in the corner. He didn't even draw a face. Because that's how he saw me, as a shadow. That night, I made a decision. I won't go into details, but let's just say I thought my family would be better off without me. I couldn't see a way out. I couldn't see hope. I only saw darkness. But the universe had other plans. It was an ordinary Tuesday. I was at the pharmacy at 11 p.m. because that's when fewer people would be there. I was buying, well, things I shouldn't have been buying. My hand was shaking as I picked up the bottle. That's when he appeared. An older man, maybe around 70, with a gentle smile. He looked directly into my eyes, and I mean directly, something no one had done in years. He said just 3 words. 3 simple words that sounded like madness at the time, but became my life mantra. You're worth more. I thought, this man is crazy. He doesn't even know me. But then he continued, I don't know what battle you're fighting, but I can see in your eyes that you've given up on yourself. And I'm here to tell you, you're worth more than any pain you're feeling right now. I started crying right there in the pharmacy. Tears I had been holding back for years. And he just stood there, waiting for me to pull myself together, as if he had all the time in the world. That night, something changed. It wasn't magic, I didn't suddenly wake up in shape. But for the first time in years, I looked in the mirror. Really looked. And instead of seeing only flaws, I saw possibilities. That stranger's words echoed in my mind, you're worth more. More than the pain. More than the fear. More than all those years of self-sabotage. I started small. Very small. A glass of water instead of soda. A walk around the block. 5 minutes of conscious breathing. Things so simple they seemed ridiculous. But you know what I learned? Transformation isn't about grand heroic gestures. It's about small courageous decisions, repeated every single day. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, I'm worth more than this. 18 months later, 18 months of small but consistent choices, I was unrecognizable. Not just physically, although I had lost 150 pounds, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I became a personal trainer. Me. The person who used to avoid stairs became someone who helps others climb their own mountains. And you know what's most incredible? Remember my nephew? Last year, he drew me again. This time, I had a face. I had color. I had life. Because finally, I was living. You want to know what really changed me? It wasn't the words themselves. It was the choice to believe them. To believe that I was worth more. If you made it this far, it's because something inside you knows that you're also worth more. More than your current situation. More than your fears. More than all the voices telling you that you can't do it. Listen carefully, you don't need to wait for a stranger in a pharmacy to hear this. You don't need to hit rock bottom to start climbing up. You can start now. If this story touched you, if you recognize that you need a change in your life, leave a comment with the words I'm worth more. Not for me, but for you. As a declaration to the universe that you're ready for your transformation. And if you know someone who needs to hear this today, share this video. Sometimes, we are those strangers who can plant the seed of change in someone's life. Remember, your story doesn't end at your lowest point. Actually, that's where it really begins. Because you, all of you, are worth so much more.